Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and I'm here with my co-host Frank Santopadre, and this is Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Obsessions, and we're joined by the harmonica-playing blues black Southern black star, Paul Raybone.
It's the first time he's introduced you.
What a doodah.
And by the wrong name.
Yeah.
Some obsessions.
I am going to be deaf by the time this show wraps. I'm going to turn into Johnny Ray because you're screaming in my ear. Oh, God. Oh, I love you. 200 episodes, kids. What do you think?
I don't know. You're lucky you can talk at all.
200 in the can, and I've lost track of the number of mini episodes.
Do you know, I heard that from Marlon Brando alone, Richard Pryor got 200 in the can.
Really?
Yeah, yes. According to Quincy Jones, Marlon Brando gave it to Richard Pryor.
It was good.
200 times in the can.
For the record, I delivered mini episode 157 today.
157. Well, thank you for that.
So what are we going to do when we get to the 200th mini?
Oh, my God. That's nothing to worry about for the time being.
I think we should get 3 midget guests.
Wow. So 157 minis and 200 full episodes.
Yes.
Not counting the 4 or 5 full episodes that are recorded.
It's like 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, it's 1,000. Yeah, that's good math. We decided to do something nice. We decided to reach out to our listeners on the Listener Society.
Yes.
I know you never go there and look.
Oh,
Frank goes there all the time. Paul, I don't know about.
We're going to do something
Paul
nice.
Raybone. You were going to do something nice for our listeners because they're so good to us.
And Paul, while we're doing this, can you find out what ball player the Babe Ruth story was about? Yeah, if you could look that up.
I just need some time.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have his phone. He wasn't even told to do research on this one. So the people who run the Listener Society, Eric Fusco and Rob Smentek. And
where did the play Oklahoma take place? Yeah.
One at a time. Come on.
And Peter Santamaria and Bjorn, we want to thank them for all they do on the Listener Society. And we're always doing Twitter episodes, and we never give the Listener Society its due, and there's 5,000 people there, or some odd number. And we decided for the 200th episode, we would post and say, ask any question about the 200 shows that you want, and the winner will get an orange wedge pin. So we have not decided yet who the best questioner is, but we will soon. So there are lots and lots and lots of questions here in my hand, so let's get through as many as we can in 30 minutes. Okay, Darren, Ashley, Boakes. Do you guys go out for dinner with the guests after the show when they're in the studio? Have we done that?
I do remember.
Yes, we had dinner with
Chevy.
You had dinner with Chevy.
Yeah, we had.
Right.
Yes.
I wasn't there.
There was a notable occurrence that night at dinner.
Yes. Chevy all of a sudden started choking.
Yes.
At the table, and it looked like his face turned red. He couldn't breathe, and I, quick thinking, I figured maybe I'll stand up. I'm not going to hold on to him because I can't really give him the high. My arms can't reach around him.
You're a little considerably shorter than he is.
Yes. And so maybe my idea was to stand up just to make me feel like I was
heroic.
Helping. Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
And if people watched it, they go, "Hey, do you see how quickly Gilbert stood up?" And then afterwards, when he was breathing again, he said, "Yeah, thanks for having my back, Gilbert." Yeah.
I heard I was at the next table, and I actually have found audio of your heroics and his response to it. Should I play it for you?
Okay.
Why am I so turned on right now? You are brilliant. Come here. I will fuck you. Yeah.
This is a success.
That's
This is gonna be
how
really happy.
He was that grateful for saving his life that afterwards he fucked me.
Fantastic.
Yes.
That's going to be a recurring button. We did lunch with Steve Buscemi after his episode,
Yes.
and we lunched with Bob Costas.
Oh, yes.
And then Paul Williams took us to lunch at Michael's.
Oh, that's
which was
right.
sweet. So, yes, we have on occasion.
Have we ever, now the Chevy thing was scary enough, but 200 episodes in, have we ever actually killed a guest? Have we been responsible for the death of a
Only
guest?
by booking them.
Yeah. We've killed the rest of their careers.
Yeah.
Darren also wants to know, do you ever start recording with a guest and think this is going terribly?
All the time.
Every show.
Yes.
Mostly because we're terrible.
Yes.
Not the guest. Aaron Carruthers, why?
But the funny thing there is we're constantly surprised. We'll have guests, some that we enjoy a lot, others we feel we had to work harder with, and we're always surprised who becomes a big hit guest.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's no way to tell.
Yeah. There's these people where I thought, oh, that was perfectly entertaining. And then I get these tweets and emails.
I know.
We love that
We
guy.
think we leave the booth saying, well, it was a nice complimentary episode.
Exactly.
And then it blows up.
Yeah, well, you think, oh, that was pleasant enough.
Yeah. Or a guest surprises us. We thought it was going to go one way, and you get somebody like Sonny Fox coming in with his POW stories.
My God.
What about Super Dave? Did you think he was much
He was
funnier
funny.
than we
Well,
thought?
I
he
think
were
we
expecting
expected that.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yes,
we know Bob.
Sonny Fox, I was expecting like basically a kid say the darndest things kind of.
He really brought it.
Oh.
He moved us.
My God.
Aaron Carruthers, why didn't you ask Tippi Hedren about the movie Roar? I believe we did.
I think
actually.
so.
Yeah, that was the crazy movie where she had all the
yes,
lions
and
and
the
tigers.
lions
Oh.
were killing people on
so
the
that
set.
ripped her
I
cinematographer's
watched
head
some
off.
of that after that episode. Oh my God, we couldn't get through the whole thing. It was just
That is the
awful.
most terrifying. It's the real Jaws.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
described it as
Yeah.
like Jaws the documentary.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just felt like saying, "Hey, excuse me, those aren't pets." Those lions.
That is if our listeners have not seen Roar, I guess it's on YouTube
It's somewhere.
and
we
worth
found
watching
it.
about 15 or 20 minutes of before you have to turn away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cinematographer, one of the lions took the top of his head off.
Yeah.
And he had something like 80 stitches or to put his head back on, and
It's like
Melanie Griffith was attacked at one point.
Yeah.
they're nice to look at in a nature special, but that's as close as you want to be to a
Yeah,
lion.
well, my favorite part of the Tippi Hedren episode was when she invited us to her preserve, and you
Oh,
said you would be waiting in the car.
Yeah.
The door locked. Rob Bollock wants to know, or Bollock, who's the chicken hawk? I'm kidding.
Only Richard Kind
You'll have to
would
take
know.
that up with Richard
Yeah,
Kind.
he's
That Henry Kaplan then follows that up by saying, my money's on Will Gear. Will Gear. I don't think Will. I don't know. It wasn't Will Gear.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But maybe of that era.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes. This is from Dane Giroux or Gerard. Has Gilbert ever been contacted by angry relatives or the fans over one of his more controversial celebrity stories? Not yet.
No, but your lawyer can call the following number.
Oh, lordy lord. This is from Kevin Mason. Of all the impressions and songs that Gilbert has performed on the podcast, which ones had Frank Santopadre laughing the most? That's easy. Well, it's either Hervé Villechaize, which I eat up with a spoon and egg you on. But refer back. It's on Stitcher now. You'd have to go to Stitcher to get it. Is the Steve Cox episode when you did the Jerry Lewis?
Oh, my
On
God.
the glass table, and Dara loved that moment because I went. We used to record in Gilbert's house then, and I ended up in the fetal position on the kitchen floor,
Yes.
sobbing
Yes.
into my hands and into a dish towel. It was so. Check that one. Check the Jerry Lewis and the last 15 minutes of the Steve Cox show.
Yes.
That was special.
Because we were having an argument over who actually got shit on and who just got shit while they were under a table.
Yes, it was the finer
Yes.
points
Yes.
of the. Sarah Ryan wants to know: is there another live show with a guest in the future? We hope so. We hope so.
Oh, yeah.
It's scheduling. It's always a scheduling dependent. Randy Bucknoff, who's the guy that brought us Sonny Fox, I might add, says, just for fun, I put orange slices on my Caesar salad. I wanted you guys to know that. Oh, we appreciate that.
Did it taste like Caesar O'Mara's ass?
Kevin Mason again. Will we ever get a live reading of Gilbert's Adventures of Superboy comic? Well, there's an idea.
Oh, wow.
You do a live reading like an old radio show?
Wow.
An old radio
or
drama?
like, what's it, Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia.
Fiorello LaGuardia reading the comics.
Yeah, the newspapers were on strike, and LaGuardia would go on the radio and read the comics to the kids.
There's an idea.
Yeah.
There's an idea.
And he was a Jew.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Fiorello LaGuardia.
A portion of him
Yes.
was a Jew. Let's see.
You really can't tell from the names.
No,
you know?
Susie Healy. Susie Healy wants to know, does Gilbert do any prep for the show? I think his laugh and Frank's cue will answer that question for you. Let's see. Chris Hankinson. Frank, being a writer, who are some of your favorite television or film writers who inspired you? Quickly, that's a long list, but quickly I'll name two comedy writers that we've had on this show who I grew up watching. Alan Zweibel
Oh, yeah.
on Saturday Night Live, a terrific, funny writer, and Bob Einstein, the great Bob Einstein. And for screenwriting, that's a very, very long answer, but I'll say William Goldman.
And?
Sort of the granddaddy of...
And?
Yes. And? Paul Cafaro said...
You know, I hired Dalton Trumbo for Problem Child.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, that was
yes.
to get him off the blacklist?
Yes. It was a lot of courage on my part.
Wow. Wow.
There have been many, many moments in Hollywood history where
Realize.
Gilbert has taken a stand.
You think you know a guy.
Yeah.
Paul Cafaro.
And John Garfield played Mr. Healy.
I didn't realize.
And Paul Robeson was the little boy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Versatile. Very versatile.
I got all of them off the back.
What range? Who was Herschel Bernardi playing? These are now blacklist references, just for us. Paul Cafaro, or Cafaro, a new running question for the guests needs to be, but did you fuck Margaret Dumont? There you go.
Yes.
There's a suggestion. Somebody wants to add that. Here's a tough one for you, Gil. Reed Hawkins. After the documentary Gilbert, podcast guests have mentioned how much they enjoyed the doc and Dara being Gilbert's savior. Has Gilbert ever wondered what an alternate universe would look like, his life without Dara?
Oh, that's interesting. That would make a good movie.
Or a Twilight Zone episode?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And for Dara, a fantasy.
I'm assuming Sandra Bullock would star in it.
Sandra Bullock.
Yes.
Yes.
And what would you say in it?
You are brilliant. When I'm here, I will fuck you, yeah.
I think we've got a hit.
Let's see. I'm crossing these out as I go. Ed Marcus wants to know, has there been a thawing out between Shecky and Gilbert?
Oh, that would be good.
And by the way, my father walked out on Gilbert's show at the Nevele.
I'm sure he wasn't alone.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for that. Let's see. Andrew Laposha, or Lapasha, I apologize if I'm mangling any of these names. If Gilbert was to get roasted, this is a great question.
Ooh.
Who would be on his dream dais?
Oh, jeez.
Well, you got to have Jeff Ross. You got to have the roast master.
Yes, of course. And Skelton Canags.
Skelton Canags?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else?
Frank Ferguson.
Frank Ferguson's good.
Yeah.
Come on, Artie Lang would be on it.
Yeah.
Artie Lang wouldn't show up, though.
Artie Lang wouldn't show up.
Yeah. Dawes Butler.
Dawes Butler?
Yeah.
All right. We gave you one name. Ed Marcus again. Is there a prize piece of Hollywood memorabilia or a holy grail that Gilbert would love to obtain?
It's funny. Just recently I did Anthony's show.
Oh.
His podcast. Formerly of
Cumia. Anthony Cumia.
Yeah. And when I got there, they said, "Oh, you'll have some fun with Artie." And And the first thing I hear when I sit down is Anthony saying, "Oh, Artie couldn't make it for some reason."
Of course.
And I thought,
Of
boy,
course.
I'm in shock.
Of course. Ted Herman. Wait a minute, I jumped one. Let me go.
Oh, what was the one you were just asking?
Let me go back to that one. This is Ed Marcus again. Is there a prized piece of Hollywood memorabilia or a holy grail that Gilbert would love to obtain?
So many. A friend of mine was cleaning out Chico's daughter's apartment.
Maxine.
Yeah. And he said he opened the closet and found a couple of Harpo's wigs
Wow.
and a few of Chico's pointed hats.
What did he do with these treasures?
Well, it took all the strength he had, but he did turn it over to the family.
wow. How
Because that to me is like the sled from Citizen Kane.
nice. Yeah, yeah.
It would
There's
definitely.
a rumor for years that Spielberg had that, but there were probably several made.
Oh yeah.
You know, who knows if these things are authenticated. Ted Herman with 2 R's and 2 N's, like Edward Herman. They say comedians always want to play Hamlet. I know Burl always wanted to. That's true. Gilbert, have you ever done or wanted to do a serious dramatic role?
To be or not to be, whether it is noblest to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or to take arms against a sea of trouble and by opposing end them, to sleep, perchance to dream. Ah, there's the rub.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I'm sitting next to Sir Ralph Richardson.
And while we're at it, he mocks my losses and thwarts my gains. And for what reason? For I am a Jew? Hath not a Jew eyes, ears, feelings, dimensions? Are we not warmed and cooled by the same summer and winter?
Very
Oh
good.
my
Yeah.
God.
Impressed?
Impressed.
What are you doing?
Why did it take
Yeah.
200
Why you-
episodes to get to Shakespeare?
Why are you doing a podcast?
Yeah. And well,
Call
I
Joe-
always say, why am I doing a podcast with the current co-host I have? But it's basically
Well,
It's
the
similar.
same.
It's a similar question.
It's
Now-
just semantics.
Yeah.
Now is
Yeah.
the winter of our discontent. on the
Oh, that's
podcast.
right.
Didn't you made George Takei do that?
Oh, yes.
That Shylock
Yeah.
bit. This question you're going to love. This one's really out there. It's from Andrew Bavington. The Three Stooges, fuck, marry, kill. You want to tackle that?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well,
Uh-huh.
I would, I'd fuck Vernon Dent.
Okay.
Yes.
Not really a stooge, but I'll allow it.
I'd marry Emil Zitka.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
kill Joe DeRita?
Yeah.
That was kind of a layup, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hey, buddy boy. That he's still the original Curly had, nuck 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 and woo, 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 and all these weird, fun things. And then along comes Curly Joe DeRita, and all he brings to it is, "Hey, buddy boy." And you go, "Oh, okay." It's kind of like hiring a guy and go, "Hey, what kind of catchphrases do you have?" Well, I have one. I think I'll wear my blue shirt today.
They went pretty deep into the bench, right?
They
Yeah,
did. They
yeah.
did. They did. Kevin Watsey, of the 200 guests, what percentage had Gil never heard of prior to them being on the show? This is usually it's you and I getting abused, Paul.
There's a
Tonight he gets
theme.
abused.
Yeah,
He gets abused by the listeners.
Is there a theme in what
There
we're
seems to
reading
be
here?
a theme. It's abuse Gilbert. They're all winners in my book.
Yeah.
Let's send them all pins.
I'll remember when Steve Buscemi said to me, Have you ever seen any of my movies?
I'll tell you exactly what he said. First of all, you dishonor him again by mispronouncing his name.
Oh.
Now it's Buscemi.
Buscemi.
Yes. And he said, he said, I love how Gilbert has only a passing knowledge of my career. That's a nice cringeworthy episode. A lovely guy. And you know the funny thing about that episode? We went to lunch with him at the Friars Club. We recorded at the Friars Club. We went down to the dining room, and the lunch was better than the episode.
Oh, much better.
He sang cartoon songs. We did themes. It was just great. He was relaxed. You were relaxed.
It's so funny because that's that thing of like where you go, oh, we got to do an interview now. And then when we were having lunch with him, we forgot about doing an interview and just had fun.
Yeah.
Well, somebody said the last time we did this, I think, that or maybe you sent me an email, that they thought the mini episodes were kind of fun because they were more laid back.
We get those emails.
Feel.
People like the short
feel.
episodes because they're looser and sillier and less formal.
Yeah.
And less of an interview. Barry Goobler, or Gaubler, has Gilbert ever walked out of a movie? If so, which one? One you were in, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Did you walk out of Funky Monkey?
Oh, God, I never
saw Funky Monkey.
any of Funky Monkey.
Right, or Back by Midnight.
Oh, yeah, never saw Back by Midnight.
Did you walk out of The Comedian? Did you want to walk out of The Comedian?
Oh, no, but I had a copy of it, and I had my thumb on the fast-forward button through 75% of it.
Uh-huh.
I went to see the Gilbert movie at the IFC Theater, and Gilbert was right behind me. And at some point, I turned around, and he was no longer there.
That's scary.
That counts as a walkout.
That's scary. You were, I have to say, sitting next to you. I had Louis Black next to me on one side and you on the other, which was very strange at your screening. And you were uncomfortable watching yourself.
Oh, yeah. I still can't get used to seeing myself up there. And
Is it easier to watch yourself in a performance than it was to watch yourself in...
Like I always say, if I'm Joe the plumber, then I'm fine.
Right.
But Gilbert is Gilbert. It's
when you saw it for the first time here in the studio, it's the first time I've ever seen you go like 5 minutes without saying a word, I think.
Oh, yeah.
You were really kind of shell-shocked.
Yeah, that threw me. Still throws me.
Here's a good one. Let's see. This is from our pal Gene Beretta. Gene's a very good friend of the podcast.
And he has a parrot on his
He
shoulder.
does. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Gene is the guy that did that wonderful drawing of the kids throwing the orange wedges.
Oh, my God,
That's in your living room. And that turned up in the documentary. Gene wants to know if there was a biopic on Gilbert, who would he choose to play him?
Well, they're in negotiations with Zac Efron.
Really?
Yeah, because but it's so obvious.
I would thought you would go for Yaphet Kotto.
Yeah.
Because he's a Jew.
And if he can't do it, Delroy Lindo.
Delroy Lindo?
Yes.
For the first time that Delroy Lindo has been mentioned on this podcast.
We should get Delroy Lindo on
He's
the
an interesting
podcast.
guy.
Yeah?
That's a thought. And
what is Ving Rhames doing?
Nothing. He's doing voiceovers
He
for
is?
commercials.
Ah.
Yeah, he does those. What the hell are they? They're fast food commercials. Barley Marie. Any chance of Marlo Thomas or Cheryl Ladd co-guesting? Probably not. Let's see. Did Gilbert... we did that one. Fred Jenkins, I dragged my whole family to the Stoogeum after the Billy West episode. You know about the Stoogeum?
No,
the
Stoogeum.
Stoogeum is apparently a museum of three stooges.
Oh, I thought it was a museum for Stu Gilliam.
It's for Stu Gilliam.
Yeah.
Also a great reference.
Yeah.
Stu's gone, or we would ask him to do the show.
Oh, yeah.
Where is the Stoogeum?
It's somewhere in rural Pennsylvania. I think not far from our pal Drew Friedman's house.
Nobody actually knows where
He wants to know, have you been?
No.
And would you consider a remote recording from the Stoogeum?
Live at the Stoogeum.
I can't even get him to go down to do a live show. We're going to go to rural Pennsylvania. Matthew Bradley Tschirgi or Tschirgi, TSCH. What do the GGAP hosts drink to wet their whistle during recordings? Well, you have a little glass of vino every now and then.
Yeah, when they have a free bottle.
When there's a free bottle here,
Yeah.
or when Frank is nice enough to go crack open a free bottle.
Yeah,
from
they
the
used
kitchen.
to have free bottles of wine here.
Yeah, but then they got wise to you.
Yeah.
Usually just high C
Yeah.
is what we drink.
Yeah. Tang.
In honor of the Osmonds.
Yeah.
Tang.
In honor of the astronauts, I drink Tang. Yeah.
Laura Pinto, along the Stu GM question lines, thanks. So she's a friend of the podcast, too, and helped us with Ron Dante. Thanks so much for the opportunity to submit a question. Is there any chance you and Gilbert and Paul would ever take the GGACP on the road? And by this, I mean, would you consider traveling to different cities around the country and recording? Would we do something like that?
Well, who is located in these different cities?
Well, fans have offered to put us up.
Yeah.
I think we should just stay.
That's a scary thought.
I think the three of us should go on the road and stay overnight in someone's garage.
If a fan offers to put you up, you don't want to stay with that fan.
No.
I found a recording of when Gilbert did stay at a fan's house and he tried to take some of the lotions and shampoos.
Oh,
You wanna
really?
hear it?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think they were trying to get it back. I can't tell.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket.
Yes. That's exactly.
Well, that's really, wow. I didn't even recognize that one. Michael Stite. Or Michael.
Michael.
I just
Site.
remembered something. After one of my shows in the middle of wherever, after the show, a guy came up to me and proudly rolled up his sleeve, and he had a tattoo of Hervé Villachez.
Oh, that is just wrong.
So it's basically
Oh, my
a
God.
tattoo of tattoo. So that was, and yeah, he had a tattoo of Hervé Villachez.
That's just wrong for so many reasons.
If he invites you to stay with him, you don't want to stay with him.
No, he wasn't one of the people offering.
And you could practically hear Hervé Villachez say, "I want the money and the pussy that Tom Selleck gets. I should get that much pussy."
That's one of my favorites.
Yes.
To answer the previous question, Michael Stite or Michael Site. Did any of the guests make you fear for your life? And if so, how close were you to calling the cops on Busey?
Oh,
The only reason I didn't fear for my life is I was long distance.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
in New York.
yeah,
You were up close.
He was definitely one of those where you think it could happen any second.
Yeah. What
It would have been great for the listeners, though.
What
Yeah.
a strange cat. If someone had
Actually-
lost their life. Mark Roman. This is not from your interviews, but I'll throw this out there. Gilbert was on a Fox show that aired once in the 90s called the Fracky Awards.
The
It aired next to a John Lovett special, John's only special. It was on a Sunday sandwich next to the Ben Stiller show. Does Gilbert have any recollection of this show or what it was about?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
But it sounds bad enough that I would agree to
It
do
does sound like something that you
Yeah.
would have agreed to do. Let's go out on this one, or maybe I'll lie and do this one. Okay.
Tom Selleck gets blowjob. I should get
Thanks for
blowjob.
the filler. Thanks for the filler. This is a good one. Henry Kaplan, speaking of legendary stories, can Frank and Gilbert tell the famous Shecky Flaming Monkey Vegas story? I don't know the Flaming Monkey Vegas story.
Flaming Monkey
Do you know
Vegas.
the Flaming Monkey Vegas story?
I think Diane Cannon knows that one.
Really?
You guys, I'm
Hey,
surprised. That
Frank?
sounds like that's right up your alley.
Frank, say, do you have a tape of when the flaming Shecky Green Monkey broke into Diane Cannon's house?
He is horrible. He is horrible.
Wonderful. We'll close with this. James M. Hunt. Are there any questions you
That's a name you don't want to
Yeah.
say 3 times fast.
and his brother Mike?
Oh, yes.
Right. James M. Hunt, are there any questions you asked that you wish you hadn't asked a guest?
Oh, the fucking time.
Can you think of one
No. Oh,
off the top of your head?
I remember one question.
Yeah.
It was almost
Don't name any names.
almost coming out of my mouth. And because I was so certain. and I was going to ask Tippi Hedren, what was it like playing the mother in Carrie?
And then you
And
realized.
then I realized,
it was Piper Laurie.
Yeah, a siren went off in my head, and it was like,
It changed course real fast.
Somewhat less embarrassing than when I slipped the card across the table telling you not to call Greg Evigan Glenn.
Yes, that was the best one. When you had to slip me a card to tell me don't call a guest by a wrong name. Call him by his actual name. That would have to be the worst.
This is the last one. We're past our cutoff point, so we'll do this quickly. Try to do this quickly. Ed Marcus, could Gilbert please tell the story of how he pissed off Abe Hirschfeld on the Howard Stern show?
Oh, that's one they'd have to listen to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was Comedy Genius. He wants you to know. Okay, so we'll direct you to that, and you'll have to find that. This was fun.
Yeah.
This was fun. How many do you think we got to? About 25?
Was it that
30?
many?
Yeah. We'll do another one. We'll do another one next week because there's so many here. And we'll do something a little different. We're going to have Paul read them next time.
I
And
didn't
fire
know.
them at us.
Oklahoma was set in Oklahoma.
Oh, thanks for doing that.
Yes.
Thanks for. How about the best little whorehouse in Texas?
Yeah.
Where was that set?
I've got to look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun mini episode. We hope you guys will. If you're hearing this and you're hearing your name, you've joined Stitcher. So congratulations and welcome. You want to take us out,
So
sir?
this has been Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Obsessions
Can't work with this man.
with the Southern Blues Black Star Rainbow.
I think the Raybone thing's going big.
Yeah,
I think it's going viral.
Being picked up by the fans, and we're going to put a band together.
Yep. Thank you, Paul Raybone. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Gil. We'll see you next week with more of your questions.
Colossal Obsessions.